Peace, everybody. It's the Lord here, Cold World. I'm over here kicking it with my main man, J-WIGG. What's good, sir?
What's good, Brody?
Can't call it, man. I want to welcome everybody back to another episode of Brody Sports Talk. And if you're not following us, you need to be following us just to kick it right off here. You need to be following us at Brody Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube and also on TikTok because we're at 20,000 views and counting. So we definitely want to say thank you to all the Brodies out there for following us and supporting us on all of our platforms. And yeah, man, we appreciate the love. Our goal now that we've reached the masses, we're going. What you think? We're 50,000. You think is that the next
I
tier?
mean, that's the next goal, 50,000. I mean,
50,000.
ultimately the goal is millions and billions and all of that, but the next goal right now is 50. Let's do it.
Yeah. So in order to get there, once again, we need y'all to show some love here on Instagram and TikTok. Click on that bottom right hand corner on YouTube and subscribe, and also subscribe on all of our platforms once again. But to go ahead and kick everything off as usual, let's go ahead and start with our opening take now. As Washington fans, we had a very, very disheartening loss. So it's only right that the opening take here would be no longer in command. Okay, Washington has lost three straight, and it's a sour taste, that's left in our mouths right now. Pause. Just to go ahead, just to go ahead and be honest, man. Like it was a very bad loss. I mean, okay, we lost to Pittsburgh. They were a solid organization, well-run team, great defense, Hall of Fame quarterback, whole nine. Okay, you get a pass for that, right? Then you got the Eagles, who are a top five team in the league, arguably, possibly going to be the number one seed, depending on how Detroit finishes the season. So yeah, I was expecting that type of loss as well. I picked that in my recap, a couple weeks ago. But Dallas was imploding. Okay, arguably one of the worst teams. Uh, they lost their franchise quarterback for the year. They only had one legitimate weapon on paper in CD Lamb, and that's just called a spade here. The skin straight up shit the bed. There was no excuse. We had B Rob. I mean, yeah, he got hurt in the first play, but you know, if after that first time they gave him that run when he came back in, and I thought he ran like 4 or 5 yards, I'm like, hey, tape his ankle up, give him the shot, let's roll. Because we need this game. But by no means was I expecting a 3-3 halftime, and then that finish was great, but we lost the game that we shouldn't have lost. Special teams didn't show up when it mattered. Coaching, you can question the play calling with Cliff Kingsbury. You can question whether Jaden hit a rookie wall. There's a lot of things that are up in the air right now, but me personally, I don't give a damn. They shouldn't have freaking lost. I mean, they beat the Giants with just field goals. So there's no excuse here. Now you can say that Michael Parsons was back and Bland was back, so their defense was a little bit different. Completely understandable. But at the end of the day, they on paper had more firepower before Austin Eckler got hurt, of course. But I just, I was at a loss of words. Seibert again. They questioned whether they put him back on the roster too quickly. You can make a bunch of excuses. He's on IR now. There's a whole bunch of excuses. But bottom line, it was a bad loss. There's no excuses. And this is a must-win game against Tennessee this weekend.
I don't know if I'm calling it a must win, but let me ask you this, I guess you just wanted to get right into it.
I don't
The opening take.
I don't want to. I'm not giving no disclosures. I'm not. I'm
Hey,
getting straight to business. Okay,
straight to business. You came in
straight
the
to
room. You said,
business.
"Take your drawers off, shorty." Like what?
Hey, we're not here to talk. You know what it is.
Hey,
It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and you over
hey,
here in your pajamas and your bonnet. I'm
yo.
not here to get to know you. Let's get straight to business.
Oh man, that's too funny. I don't know that I was even ready for that. You went straight in on the opening take, but I know that's
I told the world. I said, hey, I'm going in as soon as we hit the record button.
you did say that, so I guess that should be expected. I mean, yeah, I'm sure every fan in DC, like, bro, we were probably popping champagne before the game even begun. Like, this was a
We assumed
celebration.
victory.
Yeah, like this was. Let's just go through the through the what's the name? But yeah, no, this was a bad game from the first half. When I knew it was a bad game was that we were getting really good field position, and like you said, versus the Giants, we won that game on just field goals. So we're getting field position at their 40. All we need is 20 yards. We're in field goal range. We can't get 20 yards. Like that was the whole first half, and like you said, to end the first half, 3-3, it was really like, what the hell am I watching right here? Are we about to lose this game? That's what I said to myself. And then the third quarter starts. And then we finally get the lead. And I think Jaden does his dance. The weight. When he did the weight, I was like, we're about to lose. I said, we're about to lose, man. So I don't know. It was just one of those days. Any given Sunday in this league, so you know it can happen.
Yeah,
And it's a divisional game. Whenever Dallas is playing really well, we beat them. So it's to be expected. We're a young team. In this league, you have to learn how to win. And
yeah.
right now, the Commanders are trying to learn how to win. Me, I'm actually very happy. I'm so calm with all of this because, like I said, this should have been to be expected. We were ahead of schedule. You know that, and I'm pretty sure you'll say this later on after you just had to vent a little bit and get that off your chest. But I'm pretty sure if I ask you right now, are you still confident in this team? Your answer would be yes.
Oh, of course. I'm still definitely confident. I mean, we have a favorable, uh, record for the rest of the season. I mean, we have the Titans now. On paper, their defense is pretty good. They're top five in rushing and pass, defense, but they're leading the league in turnover margin. What's his name? The mayonnaise dude, Will Levis. You know, the B word. Okay, he's a
Hey,
turnover
Mr.
machine.
Mayor. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Mayo Levis over there, the mayonnaise guy.
yeah.
Like he's trash. So he's gonna lose the game for them more so than we're gonna win it. Okay, and then we have a bye, and then after that we go to New Orleans, and I think that can be looked at as a revenge game for your man Lattimore, right? But it's not going to be an easy win. But hey, we have to win. We have to win at least three more games to guarantee a spot. We may be able to get in with a 9-8 record, but 10-7 should definitely get us in. And then I would assume that we should beat the Cowboys, and then it's up in the air for the Falcons and for the Eagles. So realistically, I think we got three games that we can win, and that will give us to a 10-7 record. But that's going to give us what, a 3-5. No, it's going to be giving us a losing record on the second half of the season, which continues to just, I don't know, paint that narrative that Cliff Kingsbury's teams just fizzle out, in the end of or the second half of the season. And yeah.
Yeah, let me jump in on that Cliff Kingsbury note because I'm gonna say this. I noticed it earlier in the season, and I think a lot of people did too. But the Commanders were winning, and winning cures all. It's
Hmm.
very much like Benjamin St. Juice. We noticed Benjamin St. Juice was playing like trash all season long, but we were winning, so it was like, okay, we'll just take it easy on him. But he reared his ugly head again this week, right before halftime, giving up a 41-yard pass. That's like, bro, that's the only pass you can't give up, and you give it up
Bro.
again. Like, what's going on, man? So, but Cliff Kingsbury earlier in the season, this is when I knew there was trouble. Jaden was running the offense so well in the first two games. You could tell how well Jaden was running this offense. It looked like he was making audibles. It looked like he was seeing everything that was at the line of scrimmage. I don't see him doing that anymore. I
Hmm.
don't see him controlling the line of scrimmage. It almost feels like they dialed things back. And I feel like Cliff is not able to keep up with what Jaden can actually keep up with. Jaden is on the sidelines looking like, if you've ever seen a kid that is in a class where they need to be in a higher class, like
Mm-hmm.
they're in a class and they're just not being
They're not being
tested.
challenged.
Yeah, they're not being challenged. Jaden looks like he's in class and he's not being challenged. You know
Mm.
when Brady used to go back to the sideline, he would have, and I saw Jaden do it in the second half. He had the notebook.
The little iPad, yeah.
That he had the Microsoft Surface. Shout out to Microsoft if you want to sponsor us.
Hey, cut a
If you want to
check.
sponsor us, yeah, cut
Cut
the
a
check,
check.
cut the check. But yeah, he had the Microsoft Surface in the second half. That was the first time I saw that. Um, but I want to see him doing that after every drive and get back to the
Yeah.
hurry up offense. The offense is kind of taking their time now. Get back to that hurry up offense. It's kind of like the West Coast offense in the NBA. They shoot within the first 7 seconds of the shot clock. When Jaden was running the offense early in the season, he was getting to the line and running the play. You're gonna get more plays that way, and now you can kind of see we're getting the three and outs. Like you said, losing Brian Robinson, I'll
That
take.
that that was important because they were
That
running on
was
all
big.
cylinders, like you were saying, when he was healthy. But now that he's not, it's showing how valuable he really is in that offense.
Yeah, so I think that can't be understated with everything that we're saying. But I would like to see them adjust. And for me, the adjustment is really easy. Put what's the running back's name? Jeremy
Rodriguez
McNichols.
or Jeremy McNichols.
Yeah, so if Brian Robinson gets hurt, put Jeremy McNichols in for the Brian Robinson snaps because when he got in the game, he had a couple good runs. If
Yeah,
it's either him or Chris Rodriguez comes in and they play that spot, let Eckler stop putting Eckler into Brian Robinson's spot because those plays you can tell that um, Cliff Kingsbury he wants to run those plays. So run those plays as if they are what they are and keep running your offense. Like I feel like Cliff loses Brian and he's like he kind of panics and he puts
yeah,
Eckler in and he tries to do this and bro, keep running your offense. Next man up. Like same with Dan Quinn. Next man up. Cyber should have never been in that game.
yeah.
Next man
He
up.
shouldn't have.
Our other kicker was playing good. Let him keep kicking. He was playing
Yeah,
well. It was it was no reason to not have the other kicker in if Cyber is not fully healthy. Same with Jaden. When Jaden was looking bad the last couple of games, he looked better this game. But if he doesn't get that long touchdown to Terry McLaurin, we're all having way more questions about the passing game because Terry was not involved early. Like it's
at
a
all.
lot of stuff to say about that last game, and like I said, it's stuff that we've been noticing and we haven't been saying because they've been winning. But when you lose three in a row and you lose to Dallas the way Dallas was getting ran, everybody was people couldn't wait to play Dallas. That's a
No
W on the
excuse.
schedule. No
There,
excuse.
there's
So
there's just no excuse, man. And I'm in a complete agreement with you. And just to touch on just like the I guess like the aura of the Dallas Cowboy Redskin rivalry. Like it's always like this. Like there hasn't been a game where like you said earlier, where we're winning and they're losing and they still beat us, or vice versa, or something zany happens. Like and just as a fun fact here, because I'm a little bit of a football historian. This is actually the 50th anniversary of the Thanksgiving Clint Longley game. A lot of people don't know about, especially our generation. So Clint Longley was the backup quarterback to Roger Staubach back in the early 70s. And this was right around when George Allen became the head coach, Bruce Allen's father, the old GM, during the Snyder era. And this what kind of sparked the rivalry between the Skins and the Cowboys was George Allen's coaching style and Tom Landry in the way they just played, the style of football. But long story short, Thanksgiving Day, tomorrow, 50 years, it's been 50 years since this game. The Cowboys were a favorite to win the Super Bowl that year, but they weren't playing well. Skins on the opposite side were not a favorite, but they were playing well. And they played on Thanksgiving Day. Roger Staubach gets hurt. Clint Longley comes in and leads the Cowboys back and wins by like 1 point in overtime. And that was like his only game. But like, it was just so funny that something like this, we're 50 years removed from a game like that, when just last week we were favored to win the game. Dallas was not playing well, and they ended up winning. So 50 years of this crap, Wigs, of expected wins and results and losses. And it's, I don't know what it is, man, but that's just the magic of football. Any given
Yeah.
Sunday, man. Like, that's
And
just
like
the
I said,
magic of
we've been on
football.
both. Yeah, and we've been on both sides of it. Like I said,
Hmm.
we've multiple times have we won recently where Dallas has been a better team than us. And what do
Hmm.
the fans around here call it? It's our Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That's been the running joke is by that time of year we don't have anything to play for but Dallas. So when we
but
play
Dallas.
Dallas, we win when it doesn't even matter, but we beat Dallas. So, that's our Super Bowl. And it's like the joke's on us again because we win when it doesn't matter. And now when it does matter for us to have a chance to go to what, 8-3?
8-4, I think.
So what are we right now? Are we seven and
We're seven and
four?
five.
We're 7-5, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So we would have been 8-4. Yeah, after winning, I mean after losing two, yeah, it's just so disappointing. The joke's on us. And like you said, the Titans have a really good team. I don't know if you want to get into the review.
Yeah, let's jump into that, man. But before we do, as usual, you need to be following us on Brody Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube, and also on TikTok. Again, we're at 20,000 views and counting, so definitely appreciate the love there. But yeah, to go ahead and get into the review, let's go ahead and go over the current record. So right now, Wiggs, you're 2 games ahead, at 10-6. I'm at 8-8. Didn't have that good of a pick 'em for if you will, for last week. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We already talked about the Cowboys coming into FedEx, or Northwest rather, and beating the Commanders. Then we had the Cardinals and Seahawks. I chose the Cardinals, and you took the Seahawks. The Cardinals just shit the bed. Period. I mean, it is what it is. It was a divisional game. I get it, but Kyler Murray came in there and played like he was 5'5". Which the little man and the little engine that could out there, behind grown ass men, and he
Hey,
can't see where he's going. He's got to run around with a chicken with his head cut off. It like I expected more out of them, but
yeah,
the Seahawks are proven to be the more mature team. And yeah, it's hard to win out there in Seattle with the 12th man and everything. So yeah, great win for Seattle. They're head of the NFC West right now. It's still pretty tight for all 4 teams, but it looks like it's their division to lose.
yeah. Seattle has uh, I feel like Seattle's rebuilding their culture with Mike McDonald. Again, Mike McDonald is coming from Baltimore. Baltimore is a culture-driven organization, not just the
Hmm.
team, not just the player. The whole organization is well run, and Mike McDonald is coming into a place where it seems like the Seahawks do things really well. He can fit in, he can build his culture, and it seems like they're buying in. The Cardinals were the hot team coming into this game. Like you said, that's why you picked them. I mean, Kyler Murray was playing really well. James Conner was playing well. Marvin Harrison was getting his catches and getting touchdowns. And then they get here, and again, they wet the bed. 6 points. They scored 6 points.
6
Like,
points, bro. With all that
that's a
firepower.
yeah. With all that firepower, with all of those weapons, I think Kyler Murray was almost in talks of
He
MVP
was.
MVP
Yeah.
talks.
He was in MVP talks after those past few games, but yeah, I don't know
So
how to. I don't even know how to explain it.
so yeah, I think the week before I had the Seahawks versus the 49ers, and the Seahawks won that game, and that's when I was like, okay, the Seahawks might be onto something. So that's why I was able to pick the Seahawks, and I kind of just got lucky with that one because that to me was a pick'em game, but the Seahawks showed that they were the better team. So yeah,
Yeah, and Smith and Jigma is starting to turn into the number one receiver over there. It looks like these past few games he's led the team in reception, so could be turning the tide over there. I don't know. I think DK might be losing his number one role. He might transfer to 1A, yeah, at this pace, but
No, I think
um,
that's a good point, Cole. Let's talk about the offense because Geno Smith just doesn't get enough credit
he doesn't.
for what he's
He
doing in
doesn't.
that offense. I was hearing talk of Daniel Jones going to the Seahawks. The Seahawks got our boy. Who was our starter last year?
Sam Howell.
Yeah, they have our boy Sam Howell. There were talks in the offseason about Sam Howell taking over Geno Smith's spot. It didn't happen. Geno Smith is moving the ball around in this offense. He's got Lockett, Smith and Jigba. He's got DK. The running back is doing a good
Still got
job.
Tyler
Kenneth
Lockett.
Walker still got Tyler Lockett. Kenneth Walker. And Geno is just doing what he needs to do. Like I said, he's adapting to the culture. I think Geno's again. He's doing what a lot of these other quarterbacks are doing, and he's not getting the credit that Sam Darnold is getting, that Baker Mayfield is getting. And again, I say it every week. There's a bias towards white quarterbacks. Let's just be honest. Who's the
It is
quarterback
what
I
it
just
is.
said? Daniel Jones. There was talk of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones got paid before Geno. Geno Geno's been doing more than a lot of these guys, and he hasn't been paid. Like they'll
Yeah.
do anything but pay black quarterbacks. Let's just be real. And they pay these white guys like we gotta pay him. We gotta pay him. Like yo, so
There's definitely a bias because I mean the tape is out there. Daniel Jones is not really good. Now you can make the argument that he was in the wrong system and all that stuff. We see what Sam Darnold is doing under a new system. So your boy Baker Mayfield, I get it. A new system can change in some time off with no pressure. He's a backup quarterback now. You don't have to worry about all that pressure. He may have a turnaround, but to your point, they get the nod more than any other ethnicity as far as that position is concerned. But Gino has been, if he doesn't, he's been a candidate of comeback player of the year as well. No one talks about that either. I don't think he got it the year that he ended up getting that $100 million contract. But he's playing lights out. I mean, he's managing the game the way he's supposed to manage. He can run when he wants to run, and he's got a well-oiled machine over there out there in Seattle too, man. I love what he's
yeah.
doing, and I would say actually he would. The Seahawks are, like I said, it's their division to lose. So
Mhm.
that's what we got there, man. I'm 8-8. You're 10-6. Um, we have some other games to go over here. The Eagles and Rams. Now we both were right on that. The Rams, I don't. They're like a box of chocolates right now, man. You never know what you're gonna get with them, man. Like
The
a
Forrest
couple
Gump reference.
a
Okay.
couple weeks ago, we were sitting there saying that these dudes could be a contender in the NFC East. Now, I don't even know. I mean, they got the firepower, but I don't know if is it their offensive line that isn't that good, that's not giving Matt Stafford enough time. Is their defense wishy washy? I don't know what it is about them, but they lost to the Eagles in a convincing fashion.
I think they just lost to a better team. When we played the Eagles, we kind of both said it at the end of the game. They kicked our ass. Like it was getting to that point where they were showing that they were the better team as the game was going along, and I think that was kind of the same thing here. Quinyon Mitchell again. He was he held Cooper Cup to like 30, 40 yards through three quarters, and then by the fourth quarter, Cooper Cup got loose, got a touchdown. But Quinyon Mitchell is the real deal. This Eagles defense is the real deal. They just lost one of their key players, um, but again, next man up. They feel like they have a good culture going on there. Again, I said it 2 weeks ago. Everybody was talking about Nick Sirianni, but when you get a player like Saquon Barkley who buys into a system, I think some players were saying that Saquon Barkley bought into what Sirianni was doing, and then other players buy into what Saquon is doing, and then it's like, yo, all right, we're pretty good. And then we see Quinyon Mitchell do his thing, and it's like, all right, we might have something special. We might be able to get back to the Super Bowl. They have a quarterback in Jalen Hurts that's already been to a Super Bowl. So again, to me, the Eagles are they have a chance to go really far.
They do.
But I think they're just one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, and I like what you said about how Saquon is buying into Sirianni's system because that's what you need to have a winning culture. You have to have a coach that implements a culture or a system, and you got to have at least one or two players to buy into it so they can kind of convey that message to the other players. Because the players, for the most part, they're going to follow the guys that are on the field with them, and then they'll follow the coach. You see it all the time. So, like, if you have players that believe in the coach's system, then the other players are going to follow suit. And right now, and you'll see in my last take, I got a surprise for y'all. Like, Barkley is really doing his thing. But again, not a bad start. I mean, 8-8 is not bad. We still got a couple more weeks left in the season. 10-6 is definitely better, but let us know how you guys are doing on your picks out there. You need to be following us on Brody Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube, and also on TikTok. Again, we're at 20,000 views here. Finishing up the recap here, we got the Ravens and the Chargers. Now, I chose the Ravens mainly because I'm sorry, the Chargers, mainly because the Chargers were running on on oil or something, man. Like they were running on all cylinders. Like they averaged like 13 points a game as far as holding their opponents to 13 points a game. J.K. Dobbins was doing good. Their defense was stout. Herbert's doing good, but I mean, I keep forgetting to look up these certain stats on Lamar. But Lamar, when it comes to pressure games outside of playoffs, this dude is virtually undefeated. I think he's like 20 something and one or
20
20
and
something and
5.
oh. Yeah, like on Monday night football games, like yeah, on primetime games during the regular season, I'm not gonna bet against Lamar Jackson anymore. He played lights out. To your point, if you guys didn't see the breakdown and analysis from my boy Wiggs, he predicted to the T, all right, that if they got 34 carries, they would win among if they 34 carries amongst Lamar Jackson, Justice Hill, and Derrick Henry, they would win the game, and they got 34 carries on the dot. You said that you needed Derrick Henry to get 20 plus carries. He got 20 plus carries. I mean, Wiggs, I'm starting to think that you're like one of them folks like from The Simpsons that predict the future. You might have a time machine or something because some of these that was a little bit too spot on, bro.
Listen, you know what it is? It's the Madden analysis. I'm gonna take it all the way back to Madden. And Madden was such a good simulation. And I've run through so many simulations in Madden that I just know the number. Like, and I think Saquon was another key piece too. We saw what Saquon did, and I think I saw somebody on ESPN say, I think Shannon Sharp said it. Derrick Henry is the happiest person after seeing what Saquon is doing because he can just go to coach and say, "Look, you saw if you give Saquon this many carries, he's gonna have this many yards. I'm the same type of running back. Give me this many carries, I'm gonna have this many yards." And you saw it again as the game went on. Derrick Henry gets stronger, the defense gets weaker. He had some of those stiff arms in that game where it's just like, yo, he's just too big, too strong.
Hey,
Give
yo.
him as many opportunities as you can.
Hey, yo.
Hey, no, but seriously,
But seriously though, yeah, that's a big
that's how
guy,
the
yo.
Ravens talk about him. Like Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson and Zay Flowers always talk about, yo, the dude he's a big dude. Like
He's 6'3", 250, and can run a
and
four
he
five.
runs a exactly. If not a 4-4, like
That's scary, man. Look. They say football is a man's sport, and that is why. Because if you have a guy that size running at you in the open field, Deion Sanders said it best. I'm making a business decision. You can say whatever you want. I'm not I'm not tackling that dude in the open field. And even if you have the heart to try to tackle him, he's gonna stiff arm you or throw you into the stands. Like it's incredible. And like you said, man, like the more you feed him, the like he's just unstoppable, man. It's incredible to watch the guy play the game. And I think Harbaugh understands that, but we
I
also have
understand it
to,
now.
yeah, but we also gotta be a little bit of an advocate. This isn't Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Like this is Baltimore. He yes, we want him to run the ball. We want him to like control the clock. We want him to do all these things, but at the end of the day, it's still Lamar's team. So they have to find a happy medium. And I think he's doing a great job because Henry's not complaining, Lamar's not complaining. So they're doing a great job of managing those egos. But you gotta help but wonder if one of them are saying like, all right, hey, Lamar already got 3 carries. Let me keep one of them more. All right, Lamar already got 3 passes. Let me get some of that. I don't know, but they're finding
Let
a
me
happy medium out there.
let me ask you about Lamar's weapons. I think the running game, like I said, the running game they already have what they have to do what they need to do in the running game with Lamar, Derrick Henry, and Justice Hill. Let me ask you about the receivers. Rashad Bateman had a really nice catch for the long touchdown. I think Zay Flowers had a couple more drops again this week. Do the Ravens need to? I mean, I guess next they can't do anything this year. Do they still need to look at receiver to get Lamar some help? Do you think is because again they're winning. Lamar's his stats are going to be what his stats are going to be. But as the game goes along, you can see that there's still a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah,
What do you see in the game that you think they're missing on offense, if anything?
they still are doing wide receiver by committee. Their running back is locked. They got King Henry. They know who their backup is in Justice Hill, and then of course you got Lamar. But can you legitimately say who's their number one wide receiver? Of course, I would probably say on paper you would probably say Zay Flowers, right?
Yeah.
But you know, to be honest, on 3rd and 3, who do you trust more? Zay Flowers, Bateman, Likely, or Andrews? You see
Or
what I mean?
Lamar. Yeah, or Lamar or Derrick Henry. Yeah. They really
Most
are a
likely on
committee.
3rd down, it's going to be in either Derrick Henry or Lamar's hands
Yeah.
because there's no definitive number one wide receiver or possession receiver that you can go to. Right down 95 with us on 3rd and 3, if we're passing the ball, who are we looking to first? We're looking for Scary Terry.
No.
Actually, maybe Noah Brown after
Exactly.
these past couple of games, but there's still
Let me jump
a
in.
clear
Let me
number
jump in
one
right here quick.
wide receiver on our team.
Yeah, let me jump in real quick here, Cole, because you're saying a couple good things. Both Terry McLaurin and Zay Flowers are in the top 10 in yards, but they're not in targets. It's a very interesting thing that we have going on here in this DMV Beltway, not DMV, because Baltimore is not DMV, but in this Beltway area, it's a very interesting thing we have here going on. Zay Flowers doesn't look like the number one receiver. I would say, like you said, it's a committee thing. It could be
Yeah.
Bateman getting it this week. Zay is not even getting. It feels like he's not getting 100 yards a lot of weeks, but he's top 10 in yards. It's kind of crazy. McLaurin, it feels like he might be getting the long yards at the end of the game,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels like throughout the game he's not getting the targets. And again, the stats show he's not getting the targets. CeeDee Lamb is only about 21 yards ahead of Terry McLaurin. They're about both around 740 yards or so, and I think Terry's about 728 or something like that. But CD has 77 receptions, where Terry only
Mm,
has like 53.
mm.
It's kind of crazy. So, like you said, Noah Brown is probably getting the targets on 3rd down.
Yep.
Um, but Lamar has a much more defined committee where Jaden, like I said, at the beginning of the year, Jaden was definitely committee, but he knew where he was going. It doesn't feel like Jaden is as confident as he used to be, but Lamar is extremely confident. He doesn't have to go to Zay. he can go to Rashad. He doesn't have to go to Rashad. He can go to Isaiah Likely. He can go to Mark Andrews. He can go to Justice Hill, Derrick Henry. He can keep it himself. Like, he's so dangerous with the ball in his hand. Again, I don't know why I haven't been hearing people say MVP again this week. Like I said, they want to give it to these other quarterbacks. Lamar's MVP so far. As what are we saying? At week 12, week 13, Lamar's MVP.
Well, I would say he's definitely the front runner after that performance, but definitely stay tuned to my last take. I think you'll have, I think I might have a surprise for you. But Brody World, we need you to go out there and follow us on Brody Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube, and click on the bottom right hand corner to subscribe. We're also on TikTok, again, celebrating 20,000 views. Brother, we're doing great. We're hot right now. There's some controversy because I feel like there's people out there watching us, but we won't say who. But they're watching us because we're seeing a lot of different takes being revised on live television. We won't say who, but but to continue on here with the recap and review going into week 13, we got the 1 o'clock games here. First, we got the Titans at Commanders. Now, again, we're coming off a 3-game losing streak. The Titans are also a should win game here. So I'm going to go out on a limb again and say the Commanders. This is not going to be an easy win because the Titans defense is good. The Titans run offense is good with Tony Pollard and Spears, I believe, or Shears, one of the two. His last name I can't remember. I think it's
Spears.
Spears.
Spears. Yep.
But and then Calvin Ridley. Like those aren't three people that you should sleep on. The problem is Will Levis. The mayonnaise man is some trash. So he's going to throw a pick or two or three or fumble or something like that, or overthrow people on third and short. And it should be a get back game for us before the bye week. It will be a great momentum shift for us going into that bye week to give us that confidence we're going to need for that back end stretch there. Pause. And yeah, give me the Commanders over the Titans. Who you got, Wiggs?
Ooh, the Titans are coming off a W, and the Commanders are coming off a L. So I do like that going into this game. I don't like that we're coming in off a 3-game losing streak though. We're not playing the best football. We didn't come into that game with really good attitude. It just felt like that was something I felt like I noticed, and it could be the fans. Our fan base is transient, meaning we have a lot of fans that are not native of DC. They
Mm-hmm.
come to work in the DC government, but they're not from here. They didn't grow up here. And that's not a bad thing, but when it comes to energy at the stadiums, at DC stadiums, the energy is not always there. And I think we saw that in the beginning of this game, because I think if the fans bring a little bit more energy at the beginning of this game, maybe this game goes a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can see certain players like Frankie Louvu, he's going to always have really good energy. But on offense, we didn't. When Brian Robinson went down, I think it just sucked the energy out of the
Yeah.
offense, and I think that just really doomed us. So I hope this week, going into this game, the mentality is more next man up mentality, because
Yeah.
that really hurt us last week, and I think we're gonna be more resilient moving forward. Because like I said, in the NFL, you have to learn how to win. We're seeing it with Caleb Williams. I say it every week. He's taking some really bad losses, but you see him making the progression. Everybody can see the talent. Same thing with Jaden. You can see the talent. You can see the skill. So, am I gonna pick the Commanders? Man, this is tough. The Titans have a really good team, but like you said, the Mayo man. Do you do you know the Mayo man? I don't trust the Mayo
I
man.
don't, I don't trust him.
I don't trust the Mayo
He's a
man, so
B
I'm
word.
going with he's a B word. I'm going with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders.
All right, cool, cool. Next 1 o'clock game we got here is a divisional game. We got the Steelers at the Bengals. Now, this here is going to be a good game because if the Bengals can steal this win, the rest of their season is pretty much easy. And the way Joe Burrow's playing, they could make a run and finish 10-7 and make the playoffs. So but that boy Russ, I just love what Russ is doing. I'm glad that he's got his career back on track because all the people out there just keep talking about him, calling him a simp and all that stuff. All the future fans keep talking about him, and it's just like, look, you can fry him all you want, but at the end of the day, he got more money than Future, and he got his baby mama pregnant a few more times. So I think the man is winning. So say what you want, but he's clapping his girl several times. Okay, so
Hey,
call him a square all
mustard,
you want, but he's running circles around your girl. But
mustard. Hey, this sound like the Kendrick.
mustard,
This
you
sound
know
like
what I'm
the
saying?
Kendrick Drake
Like, get out of
Lamar
here.
feature,
Call him a
bro.
square, but he running circles around your bank, bruh. Last time I checked, you sold your catalog for 50, and the Broncos are still paying them 165. So keep your mouth shut. But anyway, that's just
Mustard.
mustard.
Hey, about to go Super Saiyan on
You
this.
know
On
what I'm
these
saying?
dudes,
Don't
man.
hey, somebody gotta do it. You know
I'm
what I'm saying?
telling you,
But
man.
look, I think they're pissed that they lost to the Browns. So having said that, I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I still think that the Bengals have a shot here, later on if they win out, but I think the Steelers are pissed about that. So give me the Steelers over the Bengals.
All right, let me make sure my mic, cause my mic just might be too loud. Let me make sure it's not too loud. Screaming mustard on the beat.
Oh my gosh, yo.
Hey, that might have to be my last take. I don't know. I had a different last take, but I'm gonna have to update it because the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef is going crazy. Oh, wait.
Bruh,
Okay.
look,
Whew.
just a side note because
Whew.
like that. I'm sorry, Drake. I love you, man. I love your catalog, but that is the reason why we say you're not like us because that is the ultimate bitch move I've ever seen in my life. You sue people
Hold on,
because you lost the
wait.
rap
Save
beef.
it. Save it, cuz. Save it,
What are we
cuz.
doing
Save it,
here?
cuz. We're gonna have to do it for the last take.
Yo,
We're gonna have to get into it. We're gonna have to get into it.
foolishness. But yeah,
We're gonna
man,
have to get
give me
into
the
it.
Steelers
So
over the Bengals.
save it. But yes, man. Not like us. They're not like us. I
They
like
ain't
what you're
like us.
saying about the Steelers. I love what you're saying about Russell Wilson. It's the year of the good guy, man. Like this is the year of good intentions. We started with Cat Williams. We ended with I would say we're ending with Kendrick Lamar from Cat to Kendrick. Um, but Russell, he's rejuvenated. He's with a different coach, and sometimes you just need to get into a different situation in a different environment. You
Yeah,
know, I'm gonna try to pull a Shannon Sharp and go to it what our old ancestors would say and teach us. Sometimes if you put a plant in the wrong pot or the wrong environment, it's not gonna grow. But
yeah,
if you change the pot, give it a bigger pot, give it a better environment, you make sure you water it, that thing will grow. And Russell Wilson is growing in that Steelers offense. Um, and I think they are gonna do really well. I think they can do well in the playoffs as well. But Joe Burrow,
that boy Joe
T.
Burrow.
Higgins, Jamar Chase, them boys ain't no joke, man. The only problem is the Bengals defense. But with
Mm-hmm.
you going Steelers, I'm gonna go Bengals.
All right.
Give me Joe Burrow.
All right. So we got both of us agreeing on the Commanders, and then we got a split between the Steelers and the Bengals. Let's go to the 4 o'clock game, which will probably be the game of the week, and that's the Eagles at Ravens. Now, this one is going to be
The
tough,
game of the
man,
week.
because
This is the game of the
this
week.
this is definitely the game of the week. This is a tough one because um, Saquon Barkley, man, against that Ravens run defense. But then you got King Henry. against the Eagles. No, no, actually, you got Lamar Jackson against the Eagles defense and secondary. Um,
Don't forget
oh
Jalen
man,
Hurts. Don't forget Jalen
you got
Hurts versus
Jalen Hurts,
the
you got AJ
Ravens
Brown, you got
secondary.
Devontae Smith. I mean, this is definitely the game of the week, man. But I think that man, it's a tough one, man. But
Two
I'm gonna go Ravens.
Coles going Ravens. Okay, we got two first round cornerbacks, Quinyon Mitchell and Nate Wiggins. What else? AJ Brown versus Zay Flowers, two top 10 receivers, at least top 20 receivers. Uh, the top two running backs. You said it, Saquon Barkley and King Henry, MVP candidates galore. I
Yeah.
think Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate right now.
Yep.
Saquon might be top 5 MVP candidate. We know what Lamar is. MV3. This is just, and this is probably a Super Bowl potential matchup.
Could be.
So, I mean, we really have to, when we get games like this, we really have to look forward to it. Um, a lot of times you get games like this and they're injured players, so it takes a lot of the hype out of it. These
But
players are
everybody's
ready to
healthy.
go.
Yeah.
Everybody's healthy and ready to
Oh man, this
go.
is gonna
I
be a great.
can't wait for
This should
this
be
game.
flexed to Sunday night.
I mean, yeah, this needs to be. This is not a primetime game.
This is the 425 game on Sunday.
Okay, I'll take 425,
Yeah,
but
that's the game of the week.
yeah, but no, it needs to be primetime. Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a great game. Since you're going Ravens, I'm gonna go Eagles because, like you said, this is a pick. To me, this is a pick 'em.
Yeah.
Anybody can win this game. This is a potential Super Bowl matchup. Two top 3 teams in their conferences. Yeah, I think you could go either way. The Eagles, like I said, they did lose. I don't know why I can't think of his name. I think Brandon Graham. They lost Brandon
Hmm.
Graham. He had a torn tricep, and
Yeah.
he's a
Yeah.
really really good player. Um, but like I said, I think they have the right mentality of next man up. They still have the great pieces that I like on their defense. So give me the Eagles, and this way we can see what's going to happen with these records.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like I
Because
like going
we're
against.
I'm not too far. I mean, I just need another good week and I'm right back in it. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, this game is so good, it kind of feels like we might have somebody in the parlay lock, but I don't know. We'll see. You got to stay tuned here to Brody Sports Talk, and you need to follow us on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok here. And yeah, to finalize the review for next week, we got the Dolphins at the Packers. Now, uh, the Packers seem to be healthy, and when they're healthy, they're a sleeper team in my eyes. Um, so it's December. Well, I guess it's not December, late November football, but it's winter football, and we're talking about the Miami Dolphins, who are notoriously known for not playing well in cold weather. So go ahead and give me the Packers. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a two touchdown win type of game, like 27-13 or something like that.
So I started the season off saying I'm not one of those fans that's just gonna pick my team. Everybody's saying the Dolphins can't win it in Green Bay. We're not a cold weather team. That's all I'm hearing on the news.
That's what the
That's
stats
all I'm
say.
hearing my co-host say. That's all I'm hearing out there.
That's what the stats say.
But I'm going with the Miami Dolphins this week. My team took a L last year in the playoffs. We took a bad L. That was embarrassing. The L we took in the playoffs to was who did we lose to last year? Oh, the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was a really
And
cold ass game.
that was a brutally cold game. This game is
Yeah,
not going to be as cold as that. And that to me is the reason I think we're going to win this game because we've been to the bottom of the degrees and temperatures of cold games. So now this year we'll be prepared. And this team is not the Chiefs. Jordan Love is not Patrick Mahomes. Josh Jacobs is pretty damn good. I have him on my fantasy. One of the best damn fantasy teams in the history of fantasy,
Arguably.
arguably. But let me stay focused. The Packers have a really good team. I like their defense. I think the Dolphins defense is playing well right now. Um, like I said, Jalen Waddle had a really big game. I think Tyreek Hill is going to get involved in this game. I think Tyreek Hill is going to be very big in this game, actually.
I hope so, man. He's been sitting on my bench
And
all damn year.
I think you should. I think you should think about starting Tyreek this week. He's not a must start him sitting. I mean, he might be. I don't know. You gotta keep watching
You
and
gotta
see.
stay tuned.
You gotta stay tuned. But I'm going Dolphins.
Okay.
I'm
All
going
right.
Dolphins to get it
Well,
done. I think Tua, like I said, Tua learned a lesson. He's gonna get it done this week.
we're definitely gonna have to see, Brodies, but that's going to be your recap and review. So for week 13, Wiggs and I, we're going to be taking the Commanders over the Titans, and then we are splitting Steelers and Bengals. I'm taking the Steelers. He's taking the Bengals. And I'm taking the Ravens over the Eagles. He's taking the Eagles over the Ravens. And then for the Dolphins and Packers, I'm taking Green Bay, and he is going to be taking the Dolphins. So we got one agree, and we got three splits there. But we'll definitely keep the records updated. I'm 2 games behind. We'll see how things go. Again, if you're not following us on Brody Sports Talk, you need to follow us at Brody Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. We're at 20,000 views and counting. And I think it's because of this next segment. It is the fan favorite. It is Wigs Parlay Locks of the Week. And full disclaimer once again, these are our personal suggestions. We are using our own money to place these bets. If you want to build your own parlay, you can use our picks. We are hitting at a 70% clip here. Or you can use all of our picks and build your own parlay and see how things go. And as usual, like we said before, we are not going to disclose the platform we are using until they cut the check. But let's go ahead and get started for the first leg. Who you got, Wicks?
All right. So for the first leg, we have Jordan Love, 200 yards. You know, I like to get a quarterback in my parlay. Jordan Love, 200 yards. Who's Packers are going against the Dolphins. Like I said, the
Yep,
Dolphins are playing better defense. But the Packers just have too many weapons.
yep,
Um, and even though this is a cold game, the Packers like to pass the ball and then run. They have one of those weird offensive coordinators who likes to pass the ball first and then run. They have been running a little bit more, but they're still committed to Jordan Love passing. Jordan Love knows how to pass in Green Bay. So with this game being in the cold, I'm not worried at all. Jordan Love for 200, for minus 340, it's a lot. What do you think, Coach?
we got is that 340 or 380?
380. Sorry.
380. Okay. Yeah, I
And
like it.
and these lines are subject to change. These lines
Yeah,
change a lot. So
yeah. Keep in mind out
that's
there,
one
Brody's,
thing to
that
keep in mind.
yeah, Brody's, we do this show on Wednesday. So the line is gonna fluctuate the closer we get to game time, but we don't think it's going to be that much of a fluctuation to where these aren't going to be locks. I mean, 200 plus yards for Jordan Love against a team that historically does not play well in cold games, and it's a home game. I think that's definitely a good lock. What do you got for the second leg?
So for the second leg, we're gonna go with Josh Jacobs, staying in Green Bay, 50 yards. Again, Green Bay likes to pass to do the run, but they've been running well when Josh Jacobs is running. He's running at a over four yard per average clip, and he's getting over 15 carries. I love that he's a running back. He's not a running back who comes out of the backfield and catches the ball. He's like, I want to run the ball.
Right.
So 50 rushing yards for Josh Jacobs should be pretty easy. Again, it's going to be cold, so I do think they're going to run a little bit more, but I think both of these get done. What do you think, Ho?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, Josh Jacobs looks like he finally found his rhythm. He's a little healthier now, and like you said, they're gonna open the run up by passing. So I would say probably by the third quarter, look for him to start getting more carries, and that's when he's going to probably break that mark. Because I probably say he'll probably get maybe 25-ish yards, a couple of receiving yards, in the first half. But once they go up, two possessions, that's probably when they're going to start wearing the clock out, and then that's when he's going to get his yardage up.
Wow, two
Yeah,
possessions. Chill, co.
yeah. Once they go up
Wow,
10-0, that's when they're like, all right, let's run the ball. You know.
chill that.
But who you got for the third leg though? Pause.
All right. All right, for the third leg, we have Amon Ross St. Brown, 50 yards for minus 290. So I have we haven't been able to put the lines on our parlays enough this year, and they've been doing really well. Amon Ra is the number one receiver in this offense, but this is one of those offenses that has a lot of pieces. So I would say Jared Goff is doing a really good job of picking whoever is the open man. He's not
Hmm.
going to Amon Ra every week just because he's the number one receiver. If he's going to Amon Ra, it's probably because they schemed him open. And
Hmm.
Ben Johnson is doing a really good job of scheming guys open. The offensive line is being hailed as probably the best offensive line in the league right now. The Lions are bullying people when they play him. And Amon Ra is not just a great receiver, he's a great blocker. And
Hmm.
when you're a great blocker, the offensive coordinator, the offense, the quarterback wants to get you the ball to reward you. Amon Ra gets rewarded every week. And this week, I think he's going to get rewarded for Thanksgiving. The Lions are a Thanksgiving team, so had to show love to one of the Lions. Amon Ra for 50 for minus 290. What do you think, of?
I love it. I got him on my team, pretty much in almost all my fantasy teams. Like you say, he's the number one wide receiver, great blocker, and they reward him with a bunch of touches, particularly in the red zone as well. So I definitely like that. 50 yards is doable. He's questionable with a knee injury, but I mean he's one of the toughest guys out there. I think that's just for competition reasons. But they're going up against the Bears. It's a division game, so definitely expect a little bit of kickback, a little bit of resistance. These 50 yards most likely will come in the second half because I think they're probably going to just try to speed the game up by running the ball with that two-headed monster out there with Gibbs and Montgomery, and then they'll hit him with a couple of play action passes. He should get that within like 3 or 4 receptions. To be quite honest, that's just my take. But uh, as far as the fourth leg, who you got, bro?
So we're going to go to Philly versus the Ravens secondary, and we're going to go with A.J. Brown for 60 receiving yards from minus 450. Now, of course, I would like to stay at 50 and under just because I don't want to stress what they're going to do in the offense. Like you said, a lot of these teams have really good running backs. And when the running back has a game like Saquon has, like he had 300 yards to himself last week, you just can't expect A.J. Brown to go out and get 200 yards or even 100 yards. So I like A.J. Brown at minus six. I mean, at 60 yards for minus 450. The 50 was just, we weren't going to get back enough. So sometimes you do have to go up a little bit. But I like Philly versus Ravens secondary. Again, we watched the Commanders. We also watched the Ravens. They got Nate Wiggins back, and he is key. But Nate Wiggins, what I've noticed from him is he's always there, but he's not quite getting the pass breakup yet. But he
Hmm.
is making the tackle. But AJ Brown is one of those receivers that's going to probably give him a welcome to the NFL type moment. Um, so I think AJ Brown gets this easy versus secondary. The secondary, like I said, their defense is good. The secondary makes tackles where they need to, but they give up a lot of plays still.
Yeah,
So AJ Brown for 60 yards. What do you think of?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be one of those games where Lamar and Jalen are going to show off their arm talent. We already know what they can do with their legs. Jalen is going to get a couple of tush pushes in, I'm pretty sure. But Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry do one thing for their quarterbacks that a lot of running backs can't, and that is open up the play action pass. Look to see bootlegs and play action passes the entire game, damn near. You'll see a couple of quick passes here and there. They're not really traditional under the center quarterbacks. You won't see much of that, with any of them. But look for a bunch of RPOs, play actions, bootlegs, and AJ Brown is going to have a feast off of that. So definitely lock that in, Brodies. And who do you got for the fifth leg, Wicks?
And then for the last leg, we're gonna go with Puka Nakua. We're gonna go with the Rams for 50 yards at -390. I love Matt Stafford and any receivers that play with Matt Stafford.
Yep.
Matt Stafford is gonna get you targets every week. If you're one of his like favorite targets, Matt Stafford is gonna get you targets. If I was gonna build it, I would probably add Cooper Kupp, honestly. But let's focus on Puka. Puka played against the Eagles last week, and you could probably tell us a little bit more how well Puka did last week, Co. Because you have him on fantasy. But I think he had over 100 yards, and that's versus the Eagles secondary. Like I said, I think Quinyon Mitchell was matched up against um, Cooper Kupp a little bit more. But that's great for Puka Nakua because that means he's getting the second cornerback, and he's a 1A, if not if he's a 1B. I mean, if not a 1A receiver. So I like Puka to get 50 yards easy almost every week. Um, and this is for -390. Puka Nakua, what do you think of?
I love it. So just show you what his stats were last week. He had 16.20 points. He had 117 yards receiving. Yeah, and he's going up against a depleted secondary because they lost their best cornerback to the trade with us. So I think that's a good. I think that's a good pick. I think their best cornerback is probably going to be following Cup anyway. And even if they are, it doesn't matter. Like they're a pass first team with Matt Stafford. So definitely look for Puka Nakua to get his 50 yards. I think this is going to be one of those games where again it's going to be down to the wire. So look for either a long bomb or some garbage points to get that 50 yards.
Thought you was about to say long what?
Hey yo. Hey yo, but yo, Brody's. I say it all the time, yo. Y'all need to be following us here on Brody Sports Talk on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Click on the bottom right hand corner on YouTube to subscribe and follow and like and share with all your families and friends. We definitely appreciate it. 20,000 views and counting. It's insane to see how much love we're getting out there. But yeah, that is going to be your parlay locks for the week here, y'all. Let us know how your parlays are doing. And if you win, again, the drinks are on you. But moving on, we got my favorite segment. It's the Stardom Situm. Now, we have condensed this a little bit more for y'all due to time constrictions here. But still very important information you guys got to take down. Like I said, if you guys are any fantasy leagues where you're, got money on the line or anything like that, this is definitely going to help you if you are looking to set your lineups here. But to go ahead and kick it off here, for the quarterbacks, I got Justin Herbert, and my main man Wiggs got CJ Stroud. Now, Justin Herbert is coming off of a pretty okay game. Like I said, you want to have 20 to 25 points as a quarterback. He gave you 21 and some change. So he still kind of delivered, but not the way you really wanted him to. But this week, I think it's a week that he's going to get back on track. He's got a pretty decent matchup this week against the Falcons, but their defense isn't that. If the Falcons' run defense is better than their pass defense, so look for Justin Herbert to kind of get back on track. J.K. Dobbins is hurt, so I would expect that Gus Edwards is going to shoulder some of that load, but he's not J.K. Dobbins. So look for Justin Herbert to pass a little bit more. So go ahead and start him. In my point.
One note on that: J.K. Dobbins got hurt, and at the end of that Ravens game, he's actually going to be out.
Yep, he's gonna be out for a few
Um,
weeks.
yeah, I thought. I'm sorry. I thought you was gonna. I thought you said he was going to take off some of that load. I'm sorry. Um, yeah. No, I like that, Cove. Justin Herbert, like you said, he played well last week, but he can play better. I think they're going to bounce back versus the Falcons. The Falcons' defense is okay, but I think he's going to outplay Kirk Cousins in that game, so I like that stardom. Um,
Yeah, and we got C.J. Stroud. He's playing against the Asguars.
yeah, that was a big part of why I picked C.J. Stroud this week.
Yeah.
And he is kind of on the fence. You know, C.J. Stroud has kind of had a couple games that have been a little questionable, but Nico Collins is back. He's getting more and more reacclimated into the offense. C.J. Stroud has a good I think he has a good chemistry with Nico, Tank Dell, and Joe Mixon, and all three of them are having a really good season. I can tell he misses another receiver. They would have benefited from keeping Noah Brown this year, and they
Mm.
just dropped him. So I don't know if there was something there with the coaches or the quarterback or whatever. They had a lot of receivers at the beginning of the year, but I know they're regretting just dropping Noah Brown and not getting anything in return for him. But I think C.J. Stroud is going to bounce back this week, so I see him having a big game. Start him.
Yeah, I agree. And coming off that loss to the Titans, he's pissed. Now, he- people got to remember this is his second season, and he's doing way better than a lot of people do in their second year. So definitely kudos to him. So I definitely look to see him get back on track. But for Sidham here, for me, Wiggs and I both agree. Tua Tagovailoa, go ahead and sit him. My reason is he is playing Green Bay at Green Bay in the wintertime. Like I said, statistics show that a lot of warm teams, not just the Dolphins, the Bucks, Cowboys to a certain extent because they play inside. Like a lot of Southern teams don't do well in the wintertime. So that's my reasoning. Their passing game hasn't really been much outside of him and John Smith kind of developing a chemistry, but uh, Waddle and Hill are having their worst seasons to date. I would just go ahead and start them. Go ahead and sit them.
Yeah, and again, I actually think the Dolphins are going to win. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a lot of running. I think there are going to be a lot of turnovers in this game. So I don't think they're going to score a lot. They might get the yardage. I think, like I said, I think Etienne and Tyreek Hill are gonna get some yards. And like you said, he has some little bit of chemistry with Jonnu Smith right now, the tight end. Jalen Waddle had a big game, so I think he'll either be useful as a distraction or he'll get some targets. But I don't think it'll be enough because I don't think he's gonna get the touchdowns that he's gonna need to really put them over the top. I don't think the Packers are going to be scoring a lot either. So I do have the Dolphins winning, but just sit Tua this week until he shows that he can do better in cold weather, or just wait for him to play in Miami. Will really be the better option.
Right. Cool. Moving right along to the running backs. We got Josh Jacobs and Bijan Robinson. Josh Jacobs, like we said, is probably going to get a bunch of touches in the later half of the game, but it's a cold game. When the weather changes, the running game just picks up. I think he's going to be a good pick against a defense that, like I said, is playing in cold weather. They just don't do well in cold weather. So, and when you got someone as stout as Josh Jacobs running at you full speed, eventually that's going to take its toll. So give me Josh Jacobs. You got B Rob. They're going up against the Chargers, a pretty stingy defense, but it's at home. So I like that pick as well.
And one of the reasons that I made this pick is I don't know if you heard what Khalil Mack had to say after giving up 140 yards to Derrick Henry. Did you hear what Khalil Mack had to say?
No, what do you say?
he said stopping Derrick Henry isn't that hard. He said I don't think it's that hard to stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry just had 140 yards against you. the Russian the Ravens rushed for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, bro, what are you talking about?
Bro, it's like you remember when we would play basketball on the blacktop, and it would be that one person that you be like, yo, he's some shit, but
hmm
he stays scoring on you, and
hmm
he keeps beating you, but you
But
keep
you're
calling
not
him some
gonna tell him
shit.
that he's good. You're just gonna keep saying he's some shit. Yeah, yep.
Like, bro, I just beat like Paul Pierce. I hate Paul Pierce as a basketball
Yeah,
player, but he wins.
he
I can't
does.
say
You
he's some
gotta give it
shit
to him.
because he keeps winning.
Gotta give it to him. So
Yeah,
I
Khalil
actually,
tripping on that.
so that's a little bit of what I would say about Bijan. Bijan to me, he was not to me, but he was one of the top three drafted running backs in fantasy this year as far as position. I think it was McCaffrey, Brees Hall, and then Bijan. I think was
Hmm.
number three as far as draft position. So people had high expectations for Bijan. I think they're coming off a bye week, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but Bijan is in that Saquon Barkley mode as far as
Yeah,
running backs that just have a lot of raw talent.
yeah.
Um, and going against this Chargers, like you said, the Chargers have a really good stingy defense, but Bijan to me is the type of running back that can overcome that. That's why I have him in my stardom. I'm trying to pick the guys that are, the people aren't thinking about. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if these other media channels are watching us. Co. We're gonna pick a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit of different guys and see whose list they come up on. So
yeah.
I like
We'll see how
Bijan this
things
week.
change. We'll see
Let's see
how
how
things change
things.
on Saturday when they do their reviews.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll see.
but as far as the situms go, for me, I'm going with DeAndre Swift. Wiggs is going to be going with James Conner. Now, DeAndre Swift is going up against the Lions. Their defense is playing lights out. I mean, right now, until proven otherwise, Detroit is the best team in football. Um, and yeah, it's a short week. I don't think DeAndre Swift is going to have enough touches, let alone any opportunities to really break any long runs. I don't look for the Bears to put up too many points. I look for the Lions to blow them out. And whenever you go up, two possessions, they stop running. They end up having to pass more. So that's my reasoning for DeAndre Swift to be sat down. And you got James Conner, and the Cardinals are going up against the Vikings, best run defense in the league. So I can concur with that. Sit.
Yep, and you said it right there, Co. One of the best run defenses in the league. When you watch the Vikings, you can see they're well coached. They have really good fundamentals. They have a great player in Harrison Smith, who is always around the ball. They have some really good linebackers who are always around the ball. And the Cardinals just aren't consistent enough in what they want to do. Um, Looking at what the Commanders need and what Cliff Kingsbury likes to do, I would love to see James Conner come here because the Cardinals just aren't utilizing them correctly.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, this week I'm sitting James Conner, and again, I think I'm trying to pick players that are a little bit different because I like James Conner. I would be like, I would want to have him in my starting lineup, but again, this week against the Vikings, this is the week to just sit him. If he gets 10 points, if he gets a touchdown, don't
great.
worry about it. He just played. He just did what he was supposed to. He did what we know he can do. But the Vikings defense is tough. Just sit him this week. Don't even try it.
Yeah, especially if you got other options. Now moving on to wide receivers. For me, I got Darnell Mooney, and Wiggs is going with Jamison Williams. Now, Darnell Mooney, he looks kind of like Kirk Cousins' favorite target, even though they force feed Drake London because he's technically the number one. But just based on a reception standpoint, it looks like he gets the most targets. And at that slot position, it's one of the most dangerous positions in the league. And the secondary right now for the Chargers, It's a little bit questionable after last week. So yeah, I like Darnell Mooney in this. Look for him to get about 15, maybe 20 points in fantasy this week. So go ahead and start him. Jameson Wilson, why do you give him the nod?
So on this one, I wanted to go with Amon Ra just because I was looking at the matchups and I like the Lions matchups. We saw what the Bears and the Commanders did. I think one of the Bears cornerbacks got benched the week after after playing as it. And honestly, I still don't think they've been the same since. They've been really good against the run, but I don't think they've been as good against the pass. And again, they're going to have to try to stop the run because they're playing against the Lions. And Jameson Williams is kind of like the player that gets lost. Are you going to stop Montgomery? Are you going to stop Amon Ra? Are you going to stop Laporta? So many different options in this Lions offense, and Jameson Williams just kind of happens to get past the defense. It's Thanksgiving weekend. I think this is going to be one of those players that just goes off because it's Thanksgiving weekend. So give me Jameson Williams for, again, I'm picking players that I want to see who's watching this, Cole.
Yeah, and that's not a
It
bad pick either.
and I like your pick, Darnell Mooney. So these two, if these two show up on somebody else's show, man, I know they're watching. I know they're
I'm gonna
watching.
pull a Drake. I'm suing.
Hey, we might have to pull a Drake, man.
Yo, I'm about to pull a Drake on niggas, yo.
Oh,
Excuse me for the
man.
sponsors. Mustard. Hey, yo, I can't get that song on my head, yo. But
Man.
here's what we got for the sit 'em. I think there was a flash in the pan for the Chiefs and DeAndre Hopkins. After that one game, he hasn't done jack since. So go ahead and sit DeAndre
What's the matchup
Hopkins.
this week, Cole?
They got let's see. The Chiefs got the Raiders on Friday Night Football, which is going to be on like Peacock. These people are price gouging the fans. Like, this is ridiculous. You got to
Yeah.
have all these stupid streaming joints to watch football. It's what are we doing? But that's a whole
What are we
nother
doing?
that's a whole nother subject. But it's going to be Raiders at Chiefs. Raiders are trash. Antonio Pierce in his interview said, let's call it what it is. It's the best team versus the worst team. And I'm like, that statement right there just earned you your pink slip, sir.
Hey,
So you should go ahead and update your resume on Indeed, go on USA Jobs, Monster, if that's still a platform, do some networking, go to some career fairs at a couple of HBCUs. Brother, you just we know you're the worst team, but you don't say that.
especially if you're the coach, because
And
that
you're the
means you're
head
coaching the
coach.
worst
You
team.
don't
Like,
you
bro,
don't do that. That's like you and your wife having an
you're
issue and you
admitting
go to the
defeat.
family dinner like, oh, how's everything? Oh, we hate each other, but
Yeah, yeah,
we're still together.
yeah. You're
No,
admitting
but
defeat, bro. Like,
what are
what?
you doing? No. So
Uh,
yeah, I don't get it. So but Pacheco, I think Pacheco is back. I could be mistaken. He
Pacheco
was supposed
should
to
be
come back
back.
last week. But Kareem Hunt, Kelsey, will get his clutch catches every now and again. If not, Mahomes will just do what Mahomes does and just put him in a position to win. So I don't think DeAndre Hopkins going to benefit from any of that. So go ahead and sit him. And the cold weather team, a warm weather team playing in cold weather, you got Jalen Waddle. He did pretty good last week, so I was incorrect about that. But I mean, that was like his best performance since what, week two, week three, something like that. So yeah, I'm with
Exactly.
you on that system as well.
So, and this is something I've noticed in the NFL this year is every once in a while, what is it? A broken clock is wrong is right
A broken
twice
clock is wrong twice a day.
is right twice a day or something like that. Yeah. So Jalen had his big game last week. So he's gonna go right back to what he's been this week coming up. I think Tyreek Hill, to me, this game is gonna be Tyreek Hill and Devin the Chain. And I think Jalen's going to kind of fall back to the mean of what he has been, which is regular. Like you said, this is probably his worst year in a couple of years. Um, Cold weather. I'm just not looking forward to him repeating, especially with the big game that he had last week. I see it all the time this year. Joe Mixon, same thing. Joe Mixon, I think, had a really big game last week. This week, or the week before, he had a really big game. This week, he only had like 22 rushing yards. Like, bro, he won me the fantasy the week he played against you. The next week, he only had 6 points. Co.
Yeah,
I know,
no
I know
consistency.
that. Like, but that's fantasy. Like, so, so yeah. So I think the same thing is gonna happen with Jalen Waddle. He's gonna come back to earth, come back down to earth, and just sit him this week.
Yeah. And to round things off here, Brody's, we got the tight ends. Now, he was flying under the radar all year. He doesn't really get too much love, but these past couple of weeks, he has been. And last week before their bye, he went off. So I'm going Taysom Hill. Go ahead and start him. And my main man Wiggs is going Zach Ertz. And I agree with both of them. For Taysom Hill, the Saints, they play the Rams. And like I said, you never know what you're going to get with them. And Taysom Hill, not only is he stealing plays at the goal line from Alvin Kamara, he's also a passing threat out. He's still a quarterback. So he had 41 points and some change last week. He had a career high in rushing yards. I don't expect him to do that again. But like I said, he is actually getting more nods on the goal line now. And of course, every now and then he'll have like some type of RPO pass. Look for him to get about 10 or 15 points. Go ahead and start him. And Zach Ertz, he's the security blanket for JD, and what is the best friend of a rookie quarterback outside of a run game? The tight end position. So if the running game is going to be questionable against the Titans, look for Zach Ertz to get a lot of targets.
Hey, good. Just go ahead and do my job for me, Co. That's great analysis. Like you said, Taysom Hill. Let me start with Taysom Hill because this dude is taking all my points for Alvin Kamara. Bro, he's hurting me right now. Like,
Guess who made the squad? Guess who just passed his physical?
hey, I just saw that, man. Good between Bo
I
Nix
got to
with the
start taking my own
pickup.
advice.
Welcome to the squad, Bo Nix and Taysom Hill. So, yeah, no, those are two good pickups. And then I think, like you said, Zach Ertz is kind of looking. I would say maybe Noah Brown is his number one option, but Zach Ertz is a security blanket. Zach Ertz missed a touchdown that he should have had last week. I don't know what the refs are doing, but I think Zach Ertz had a touchdown, so I think he's gonna get his touchdown this week, and I think he's gonna have at least 50 yards. So look for Zach Ertz to get over 12 points this week, um, in a bounce back week versus the Titans. Yeah, so go ahead and start him. And like I said, I'm giving you guys people that you aren't gonna find on any other list. So Zach
Yeah,
Ertz on the start.
definitely in agreement with that. And then to round things up here, we got Cole Komet and Mike Gesicki. I mean, Cole Komet is just they're just not using him. I mean, I don't even watch enough Bears games, but I know they're not using him because I don't see any Cole Komet highlights on Red Zone or on
Hey,
Game Day highlights or
what do
even
I
on
say
Sports
every
Talk
week, Co?
Radio.
I know you, but I don't know you.
Yeah,
You got to
you
prove
know,
it.
yeah, and Mike Gesicki, unfortunately, there's just too many weapons in Cincinnati, and I don't know what's going on, but the tight end position has really taken a hit this year. I don't know what to attest it to, but the top players, not this isn't just you know position wide, but even the top players, Kelsey's not doing too well. Kittle keeps getting hurt. Laporta's not doing well. Hawkinson just came back, but he's not hitting yet. Like I don't get it. I don't know what's going on with the tight ends this year, but it's definitely a cause for concern. But yeah, Gasecki and Cole Komet, go ahead and sit them. Don't expect too much out of them. But that
Uh,
go ahead.
Bengals. I was gonna say yeah, the because like I said, I picked up Gesicki, man. I was so damn disappointed in this dude.
I
It was
had
the
him too,
week I
bro.
think T Higgins came back, and I think you said it the week before that you had picked him up and dropped him, and you were like, "I'm not doing it again." So I needed him to be on my list because he wasn't on my list before. I needed him to be on one of my lists, on the sit him list officially. Mike Gesicki, sit your ass down, man. Either make a play or sit your ass down.
Pretty much, man. And same thing with Cole Kmet, man. But
Yeah.
Brody's that's it for the Stardom Situm. We actually had to reduce it, and I'm very proud of us that we were able to get through all that information. But if you're not following us, you need to follow us on Brody Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. Again, today we are celebrating 20,000 views and counting. So definitely appreciate the love and support. But moving on here, we got our fantasy talk. Just to go over some of the highlights from last week for the scoring leaders, Tua Tagovailoa, 54.15 points, had a hell of a game. 317 passes and 4 TDs. This is last year's type performance. This is what we need from him. Patrick Mahomes finally got back to doing Patrick Mahomes things with 269 yards passing, 3 TDs, and 60 rushing yards, putting up 50.9 and 5 points. And Caleb Williams had a pretty resurgent game there. 340 yards, 2 TDs, and 33 rushing yards, putting up 50.30 points there. Um, Running backs, Saquon Barkley, still doing things. This dude had 255 rushing yards with 2 rushing TDs, 4 receptions for 47 yards, 44.20 points. That's insane. Josh Jacobs, 106 yards rushing, 3 rushing TDs, 28.60 points. And then we got Bucky Irvin, a little bit of a hybrid here. 87 rushing yards, 1 rushing TD, 6 receptions, 64 yards for 24.10 points. I mean, if you started him, you're a GM of the week. Wide receivers, Jordan Addison, 26.20 points. He had 8 receptions, 162 yards, and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton, who is actually flying under the radar. A lot of people don't have him on their waiver wire. If he's still out there, you need to pick him up. 8 receptions, 97 receiving yards, and 2 TDs, 25.70 points. We got Cavante Turpin. Now, this was kind of a one-off. I don't expect him to put up this type of production, but the man had one reception for 8 yards. This is why. One reception for 8 yards, but he had 177 return yards and a TD for 25 points even. And again, what did I say last week when we were talking about Adam Vinatieri? Games are won and lost off of special teams, and that is the sole reason why we lost is because of special teams.
That was
Um,
a that was a great call, Code. That was a really good call.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then to round
yeah,
it
go
off
ahead.
with tight ends, we got Noah Gray, 4 receptions, 66 yards, and 2 TDs. He plays for the Chiefs. So, again, another random player. These stats 20.60. That helps no one because no one has Noah Gray on their lineup. But we got Trey McBride, 12 receptions, 133 for 19.30 yards. And then John Smith, who looks to be Tua Tagovailoa's new favorite target this year, 9 receptions, 87 yards, and a TD for 19.20 points, man. Some really, really great numbers here.
I'm loving it, Co, and I'm loving it because my fantasy team. Let me go to those running backs. Let me go to those running backs. I have Saquon and Josh Jacobs. So
Mm,
Saquon,
mm,
like
mm,
you
mm.
said, 255 rushing yards, 47 receiving yards, over 300 yards. What? Like, bro, what?
And when did he sign a 2 year contract?
I think he signed a 3-year contract at like 12 or 13 million per. Yeah, I want to say
Yeah,
it's like 37 million for 3 years.
that's not enough.
Every week the Giants look dumber and dumber. And then yeah, Josh Jacobs. It's the year of the running back.
But
Josh Jacobs,
hey, I
106.
was just about to say that this could be the resurgence of that position, and I'm so happy.
I am. I'm happy because this wouldn't happen without. the GMs, like I said, the GMs are kind of looking dumber and dumber. But
Yep.
I hope they continue to let athletes make a name for themselves. Saquon wouldn't be doing this in New York. He would still look good, but New York would have what? They'd be 5-6. Like
Right.
instead of 3 wins, they might have 5 wins. They might have
Right.
6 wins. But the Eagles with Saquon, they got 10 wins. It's a big difference. So Josh Jacobs is having an impact in Green Bay. But for my fantasy, I'm just a happy man right now. I think I'm like 100 points ahead of anybody as far as points for the year. So I mean, yeah, no, fantasy is just looking good, man. Just looking good.
These next two games are going to be so important. I can't believe we're at the end of the season already, but it's
Week
going to be
13,
important,
right?
huh?
We're in week 13, right?
It's a 14 regular season, and
No, but
then
I'm saying this is week 13 coming up, and
yeah.
week
So this
15
week
is
and next week,
playoffs.
those are the last
Yep,
2 weeks, and then we start the playoffs. So like seeding is going to be important. You cannot afford a loss right now, sir.
I can't.
Let's
I
just
can't.
go over let's go over the rankings here. Let's see where we are. This is foolishness. This is over
I
here.
know I'm number one. I know that. I know
Yeah,
I'm
you're
number
number
one
one.
right now.
Where is it at?
Miami Knights.
Here we go. Okay.
It was all a
So
dream.
you're at 8-1. I'm sorry, 8-4.
Yep.
Grady's at 8-4. Mo, who has not been heard of in years, finally comes out of the woodworks and under a rock and decides that he wants to play. He's at 7-5. I'm at 7-5. The newly married and off the market Steve, formerly known as Mac Wilson, uh,
Congratulations, Steve, man.
congratulations, you and Tracy. Thanks for the experience out there on Adams Morgan. Welcome to the country, Tracy. Welcome to the hustle fam. We love you,
Welcome
Steve.
to the
Congratulations
family.
once again. But
Yeah.
getting married is not going to get you out of this ass whooping. So you're at 6-6, Mr. Wilson. And then you got no one else that really, yeah. I mean, Femi's at 4-8. Toast, RIP to your season at three and
Yeah, it's
nine.
not looking good.
You
It's
should have
not
used the
looking good.
trade
I think
analysis before you
Toast.
made that
I
trade.
don't think he's completely eliminated though. I don't think Toast is completely. I think if Brandon loses, Toast still has a chance for sixth place if
So
he wins this week.
here's the seating. So you're at 1, Grady's at 2, Mo's at 3,
Mo's at
I'm at
three.
4,
Hmm.
Mac is at 5, and
And I think Brandon is
Nathan,
at six.
Brandon,
That's
yeah,
Brandon. Yeah, that's Grady's
Brandon is
guy.
at,
So
yeah, he's at 6 at 5-7. So it's
so
possible.
Toe has to win both, and Brandon has to lose both. So it is possible, but it's a long stretch.
It
Pause.
pause. Here's the reason why it could be over for Toast is because he's a game behind Femi.
Hmm.
Femi has a better, like if Femi wins out, he'll be 6-8. But it's that 16 is going to fall down to some tiebreakers. But if Brandon can win and finish 7-7, it's over. Uh, but I can't afford to lose no games. You can't afford to lose no games, and Grady can't afford to lose no games because if you lose your last two and finish 8-6, and I win my last two and finish 9-5, you know. But here, like I said, I just want to stay in that 3 to 4 seed range, baby, because history has shown whoever is third or fourth seed ends up winning the title, and I need this title so I can troll you guys. I thought about it. It's not going to be a month straight. It's going to be until someone shuts me up.
Hey, nah, you
Period.
just gotta go from this season into next season. Like if you're
Until
the
I'm
championship,
mathematically
you're the
eliminated
champion
next
until
year.
somebody dethrones you.
Yeah. So that's that, bro. As far
But
as
but I don't
uh,
think you're gonna get it this year, cuz.
look, we have a real. Let me just read off to you who I got on the team because you
My
over here
team is
talking
just
about
too good.
your running backs And you know what I'm saying? We got a stable over here too. We got King Henry, we got Jonathan
That's a good
Taylor.
one.
Okay,
That's a good one.
We got Tyrone Tracy, and
That's a
we
good one.
hold on. What am I looking at here? I just picked up Taysom Hill. Yeah, bro, I
Hmm.
got a squad, bro. Stop playing.
You do,
Stop
and who are
playing.
your receivers again?
I got Amon Ross St. Brown. I got Puka Nakua. I got let's see, Tyreek Hill. I mean, that's just my name right now. I got
Right.
Darnell Mooney, who I'm trying to decide if I should start or not, even though I do
Hmm.
have him in my stardom sit him. But I got Puka Nakua as well for the parlay lock. So I'm kind of in a conflict of interest there.
And then
But
for your tight ends, you got Laporta and Taysom Hill.
I got Kate Otten too. So
Oh
Kate Otten is
man.
playing Carolina. So I'm starting him and I'm starting
Okay.
Taysom Hill as well.
I
So
was gonna say I would start Taysom too, cause the way Taysom is playing, man.
yeah, I
Sheesh.
got him in the stardom for a reason. That's why I
Okay.
picked him up.
Okay. Let's
So
go.
I got a little bit of I got a squad here, man. Like we're like the Bad News Bears, man. Like they didn't expect us to win, but we're gonna pull off this win here, man. But
And like you said, it doesn't matter to the playoffs start. Let's
yeah,
win when it
exactly.
counts, man.
Exactly, man. But let us know how your fantasy teams are going out there, Brody. So you need to follow us on at Brody Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube, and also on TikTok. Again, we are celebrating 20,000 views and counting. But to go ahead and get into the injury status report, got a couple of players that I wanted to just notate. Um, Number one, your boy Austin Seibert, he's on IR. I think putting him on IR after what happened last week was an admission that they either brought him back too early or he may have gotten hurt, re-aggravated the injury during the game. Actually, Dan Quinn said that he got a groin injury during the game, and you know, groin injuries, that's going to be like at least 3 weeks, and there's no need to keep him on the roster for 3 weeks when we have a reliable backup in Gonzalez. So he's on IR, most likely done for the year.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Miles Sanders, he's on IR. When did he get hurt? Uh-huh. But Keon Coleman's questionable. Dalton Kincaid is questionable. Uh, we got a couple of people on the Ravens team that are questionable, but I don't think any of these players are going to get in. Darnell Mooney is questionable. And for the most part, everybody else looks pretty healthy, man. Everybody that's listed on this, Zach Moss is on IR. Didn't know he got hurt to that point. But yeah, outside of that, everybody else are just practice squad people. So for the most part, everybody's teams are for the most part healthy, which is good going into these last couple of weeks because if you are on a win streak, you're going to need these players to be healthy.
And like you said, Pacheco's coming back, so I think that's a really good note. Like you said, he was on the injury report last week as coming back, but they think he is going to actually play this week. So I'm really looking forward to what the offense looks like with him. You know, it's kind of like us losing B Rob. Pacheco runs with such aggression when he's in that offense. It really adds a different layer. So I'm really looking forward to what the Chiefs look like with Pacheco back in that lineup.
Yeah, that's definitely give them an uptick in their offense. And hopefully, I mean, B Rob practiced this week, so that's a good sign. It's not, you know,
It's a
thank
good
God it's not a
sign.
high ankle sprain. So, hopefully that will definitely boost, you know, the skins numbers as well. But Eckler, he's most likely not going to play with that concussion, and it's his second concussion this year. So, I mean. I
Talk a
don't know,
little bit
man.
about
I
that.
can't tell him what to do, but I think he can
Yeah, I
hang
was
it
gonna
up.
say talk a little bit about that, Co. What did you think about um Eckler getting that concussion at that point of the game? I mean, I guess it's just a kickoff where it happened, but just I think this is his second concussion of the year.
Yeah, it's the second
I
one of
know
the
that's
year.
something he had issues with in San Diego.
Yeah,
What would you be doing with Eckler for the rest of the season and going into next year? Kind of what would be your thought process if you were the GM with Eckler going forward?
I think he's under a 1 year contract if I'm not mistaken. So I would sign him to another year contract, maybe franchise him something like that. But right now, I think I would rest him for the, I wouldn't say for the rest of the season, but well, yeah, I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, two concussions in 1 year, that's nothing to play with, and we talk fantasy, we love football and everything, but these are these people's livelihood and and health at the end of the day. So I think just for a safe, put them on IR, give them about 3-4 weeks off. I think we should still have enough firepower to, like I said, go 10-7, bring him back for the playoffs if he's medically cleared. But yeah, I think they did a. I think they're going to do a great job with handling his injury. They've been doing good with everybody's injuries so far. But honestly, that was something that shouldn't have happened. You lost B Rob, right? And then you have your second running back, your second string running back, returning kickoffs. And I get it. He's a dynamic player. He's done very well, but special team players should be doing special team plays. Eckler is not a special team player. He is a starting running back, or at the very least, a second string running back. If he was third string, like McNichols, he should be returning kicks. Or Kaz Allen that they have on the practice squad, he should be returning kicks. Or Zacchaeus, since he's returning punts, have him return kicks. But you don't put your starting running back or your 1B running back, back there. I just didn't get it. That's something that could have been prevented. And yeah, so now we're down two running backs almost because of that. I don't understand what they were thinking, and it was late in the game as well. Like, you were probably going to be using them in other plays, so why would you even risk them doing that? But who am I? I'm just a podcaster.
Yeah, no, I think that shows that one of the things the Commanders are lacking right now is depth. Everybody kind of has that issue at this time of the year. As you deal with injuries, but like you said, why is he back there at this point? With B Rob being out of the game, he's even more important to the offense. So let's not overuse him. Have Zacchaeus back there. Have like you said, Kaz Allen, somebody else back there. Like, bro, is it that hard to catch a punt or a kickoff? Like,
I don't get it.
yeah, like get somebody else back there. I mean, Eckler is not the fastest person on our team, so like, yeah, let's get somebody else back there. I actually think this might be a good thing because with Eckler out and with B Rob dealing with his knee, we might actually get to see Jeremy McNichols get more opportunities because, like I said, I don't know why he's not getting more opportunities. I think he's really good when he gets a chance. So this actually might be good for the offense in that we'll get to have these other guys get an opportunity and see what they can do.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be a next man up mentality. Because if not, we're gonna find ourselves on a 4-game losing streak going into the bye week. And with the PTSD of the Skins fans right now, the streets are on fire right now, bro.
Woo.
But
That wouldn't be good.
yeah, that's the injury status report, Brodies. Again, if you're not following us, you need to follow us on Brody Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube. Click on the bottom right hand corner to subscribe, and also like and share on all of our platforms. 20,000 views and counting. The goal is to get to 50,000 before the end of the year. Now, with having said that, without further ado, we got the last take, and normally, we like to voice our opinions about controversial things. For the last take so far, we've talked about the statues and the mustard yelling Dwayne Wade statue, mustard, right? The Vegas and the refs cahoots and collusion against our parlay locks and everything like that, revised power rankings, all that good stuff. So it's only right that I keep the controversy going with my last take, and that is, who is the real MVP? Okay, Saquon Barkley has been doing something under the radar that no one's talking about, and that is him being on pace for going over 2,000 yards. Now, I know it's a 17 game season, and that you get more shots at breaking records and things like that, I get it. But running for 2,000 yards is not easy. Okay. O.J. Simpson was the first person to do it in a 14-game season. Eric Dickerson did it in the 16-game season and has the all-time record. Adrian Peterson's done it. Jamal Lewis has done it. CJ2K, Terrell Davis, Barry Sanders. There's only a few people out there that's been able to accomplish this. And he is on pace to not only hit 2,000, but also break Eric Dickerson's record that's been lasting for 40 years. Okay? Now, the quarterbacks that are listed are playing lights out. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes to a certain extent. We've also talked about Kyler Murray and even Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts even possibly being mentioned. But in recent years, because of the pass-heavy bias that the NFL has created, the quarterback position has become the biased opinion for the MVP, and they just assume that it's always going to be a quarterback. Now, is it the most important position on the field? Yes, but that doesn't necessarily make you the most valuable player. So, to give you an example, if Lamar Jackson were to go down and they still kept everybody that they had, are they a playoff team without Lamar Jackson? Because they've made the playoffs without him before. Okay? Saquon Barkley, if you take Saquon Barkley off of the Eagles, are the Eagles a playoff team? You can still make the argument, right? Now, take Jaden Daniels off of the team. Are they going to be 7-5 right now?
Hell no.
Valuable player. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be the sexiest position or whatever. Sometimes the value is based on like, okay, is this team going to win with or without this player? And right now, the Eagles are who they are because Saquon Barkley is lights out right now. And unfortunately, you have to break records or set records to get the MVP over a quarterback this year. Because there's no quarterback, even with Lamar playing good right now, there's really no quarterback that's playing like a career year. They're not setting any records. They're not really doing anything out of the norm. But Saquon Barkley is literally on pace for breaking the all-time rushing record and no one's saying a damn thing. So my last take is, who's the real MVP right now? If Saquon Barkley hits 2K, give the man MVP.
I need the ding, 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 ding. Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a great take. Man, I really have to think about this because just off the top of my head, when you were given that example of if you take Lamar off the team, what are the Ravens? If you take Saquon off the team, my initial thought is the Ravens lose more if you take Lamar off the team. Lamar's dynamic, but with King Henry being there, what the Ravens might be okay if they have a suitable quarterback. But Saquon, like you said, he's just taking this team. Like, if Saquon is not there, Nick Sirianni might not make it to the season. That's how the Eagles were looking like he's a complete savior for this team. Like I said, and not only is Saquon a savior for this team, he's a savior for Nick Sirianni because he bought into what Nick Sirianni's doing, and he's being rewarded for it. You said it's going to take them breaking records. Well, Saquon just broke Shady McCoy's Eagles rushing single game record. I think he had 217 rushing yards or so, and Saquon now has 255. So he has the most rushing yards in Eagles history. He was able to get the ball back after the game. I thought that was kind of cool because I don't know if you saw, he kind of did like the underhand throw into the crowd. I'm still going with Lamar, but I love the take though. I think if he gets 2,000 yards, I'm not even going to say 2,000. I think he has to get 2,100. Yeah. I think if he gets 2,100 and above, he will be the MVP. What's crazy is I think he's already over 1,600 yards combined.
That's
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
yeah, he's playing lights out, and again, this particular award has become quarterback friendly. I mean, I get it. They're putting up passing numbers. They're the face of the franchises. Most of the, I mean, the face of the league is a quarterback, right? So I understand it, but if we haven't learned anything from recent Hall of Fame classes, running backs, wide receivers, and certain other positions, they just don't get any love anymore. And the running back position was devalued during this quarterback boom because these quarterbacks are able to pump these running back numbers up with the receptions. Because running for 1,000 yards, it's not as glamorous as it once was, because if you get, I'd say, 70 to 80 yards a game rushing, you can rush for 1,000 yards. And if with these hybrid running backs now, they get 50 yards rushing, 50 yards receiving. Like, it's diminishing their value. And Saquon Barkley and King Henry are at the forefront saying, hey, no, this is still a valuable position. And without us, your passing game ain't shit. You can't run a play action without a run game. You can't run RPO without a run game. You can't control the clock without a run game. And you can't wear the defense out without a run game. Period. So, and come playoff time, it's going to be cold. The intensity is going to be heightened. What do you do to douse all those flames? Run the ball. So all the champions, look at all the champions the past 5 years, look at their run game. The Chiefs last year with Pacheco. I mean, look at their run game. You know what I'm saying? Even the Patriots, the last Super Bowl the Patriots won, Sony Michel, great run game. You see what I'm saying? So they need to stop disrespecting the running back position, because at one point in time, that was the most valuable position, the running back, because they were toting the ball 20, 25, 30 times a game. So I don't like how they disrespect the running backs. I'm glad to see what they're doing this year. I'm glad to see that their value is starting to be looked at more. Hopefully, wide receivers will get some more love too. Like when Megatron put over 1,900 yards receiving. How's he not the MVP? Tyreek Hill last year, not almost 1,900 yards receiving. Why isn't he the MVP? So, yeah, that's just how I feel, man. The quarterback isn't. The quarterback's the most important position, but it's not the only position.
Preach, brother, preach. No, that's a great take, Co. And I think I wanted to add something that you mentioned, how how the running back position used to be like the position. I saw some stats today that pointed out that Saquon's salary is only taking up 5% of the team's what's it called, the salary cap. Right. He's only taking up 5% of the salary cap. And again, I'm gonna go back to the Giants saying they couldn't afford him. You're crazy. You can afford Saquon Barkley. If he was on the Commanders, I don't care if we have Jaden Daniels. I don't care who we have. We got to keep Saquon Barkley, especially if he's only 5%. That's crazy. If you go back historically, the highest running back to take like percentage of their salary cap was Barry Sanders. But you know how good he was for that team. He was everything, and they run a Super Bowl winning team. But you keep Barry Sanders. You don't lose a player like that. Adrian Peterson, the last running back to win MVP, Adrian Peterson was about 10% of his team's contract at the time. So not only is Saquon potentially an MVP, the Eagles have him at just a great rate.
Price.
Yeah, so that's great. Again, we talk about the organization. That's a great organization right there in Philly. Well-run organization. Like I said, Nick Sirianni is not getting the most credit, and a lot of it is self-inflicted for sure. But the organization, he's in the right place where you put the right pieces. Jalen Hurts is so calm, cool, and collect. Like, he makes the coach look good. Saquon will buy into. He's the type of guy that, like, I feel like he's gonna buy into whatever the system is. Like, that's just the type of guy Saquon is. That's the type of guy you want in your locker room. And then they got a great GM. They're always getting really good pieces. They're always they're drafting amazingly right now. Most of this team is built by the draft, and then you add Saquon in there. No, that's a great take, and it kind of goes into my last take, Coach, which is offensive coordinators in the NFL need to be a little bit more creative. Last week I talked about the GMs and how they need to be a little bit more creative. This week I want to talk about the offensive coordinators, because I think you talked about last week how the defenses are adjusting now. The defenses have seen these quarterbacks in college. They've seen these dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL for a couple years. They've seen the pinnacle in Lamar Jackson. And now these defenses have adjusted their cover 3, their cover 2. And it doesn't seem like the offensive coordinators have adjusted well enough yet. Not all of them. Some of them have. And you see it in Baltimore. I posted it on our page this week. I mentioned it last week. If Derrick Henry gets 24 carries, they should win. If the Ravens get over 34, they should win. When defenses adjust to the pass the way they do, you have to run the ball. It's no more we're going to pass first and run second. And again, it's not even let's make an adjustment like you saw Jaden do in the beginning of the year, where he's coming to the line. Okay, let me make an audible to a run. I come to the line, I look, okay, let me make an audible to this. That stuff is not happening anymore. I saw a stat that Aaron Rodgers, who most people would say is one of the better veteran quarterbacks, he's not running any motion at the line of scrimmage. Motion is one of the best ways for you to find out if a defense is in man or zone. So if you're not running motion, you're not being creative enough. And that's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So if this is the best quarterback in the league, it's a little bit like how the NBA game has changed from mid-range and post-up to three-pointers and dunks. The NFL it's not transitioning. Now, like I said, some teams are. You have your teams that went out and got running backs. Again, the Ravens are doing it every other week. The Eagles are committed. The Eagles are committed to the run. That's why they're one of the best teams in the league. The Chiefs are committed to the run. Andy Reid is one of the best coaches in the league. He knows how to make the adjustment. He's making the adjustment before everybody else. And now he has Pacheco coming back. That's going to be even better. The Lions, one of the best teams in the league. What do? Sonic and Knuckles with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. So the teams, to me, that are doing what they need to do, again, Jaden Daniels, when they were looking good, they had a 2 running back system. Are you utilizing the right type of people? Are you valuing the right type of people? Not what everybody else is valuing. Are you, as an organization, as an offensive coordinator, valuing what you need? Are you building the team that you want to build? I think I talked about the Saints last week, how they have Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara. I think last week when I watched Taysom Hill again, and I wasn't thinking about it from the bias standpoint that he's taking points away from Alvin Kamara, it actually is very creative what they're doing with Taysom Hill. That's kind of difficult for defense to prepare for. So I do want to kind of give them credit for being creative. But don't overdo it. Don't outsmart yourself. Don't get caught up in the analysis. Run the damn ball. I see too many teams with 4+ yards per carry running average and less than 25 rushing attempts. If you're averaging more than 4 yards a carry, it's 4 down.
Simple math.
It's simple math. 4 yards, 8 yards, 12 yards. By the 3rd down, you're going to have a first down. And if not, by 3rd down, you're going to have a short yard. So let's be smart about it. It's not always be super creative. Sometimes it's let's dumb it down and punch somebody in the mouth.
Point blank, period. I mean, like, to your point, I think one of the issues, especially with young coordinators or old coordinators with young players, is what's your identity? Like, who are you? Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to play smash mouth football. Baltimore Ravens, they're going to play smash mouth football. You play the Chiefs. Well, up until this point, they were going to go downfield on you. The Rams, they got the firepower. They're going to go downfield on you. Like, you know who you're going to be dealing with based on the personality, and that's one of the things that Cliff Kingsbury kind of veered off from. Like, we were an exotic run first team. Period. We had B-Rob, we had Eckler, we had Jaden, we had McNichols, we had Rodriguez. We ran the ball first, and then our wide receivers ate off of that. And somehow, these coordinators, they get too cute. Like you said, they start outthinking themselves, and then they start drawing up all this wacky shit instead of just sticking to what works. If I see Jaden throw one more damn bubble screen, okay, against a freaking 3-man press, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm like, they're running man. Why are we doing, like, run your quick game when they're doing zone, okay? Not on press man. They're right freaking there. You're wondering why they're just getting back to the line of scrimmage or having a 1-yard gain. It's because they're pressing up on the wide receiver. So why are we running the damn quick game? It doesn't make any sense. And again, if we're running the ball, and even if they're playing 2-man or 3-man, or even if they're playing zone, either way, they're gonna come up if they respect the run. If they don't respect the run, they're gonna stay right there, and you're sitting there, well, no one got open. Well, that's because they don't respect the run. That's why. But if like you're saying, if we're getting 4.5 yards a clip each run, third down should be easy money. Second down should be easy money. So it's all about what is your identity. And I think this week we should get back to, I thought we were going to get back to it last week against Dallas, but I don't know. Maybe Cliff Kingsbury was like, you know what, maybe we should, try this because they're expecting us to do this. No, I don't care. That's what makes the good teams good, is because people that they're playing against, they know what they're going to do, and they still can't stop them. You know what I'm saying? We know 22 is going to get the ball, but you still can't stop him. So that's the whole point. Just to piggyback on what you were saying, like as far as these offensive coordinators, like they're just outsmarting themselves. Like, stick to the basics. You have 3 holes to choose from. Pause. You got the A gap, you got the B gap, and you got the C gap. Pick one of the 3 and run the damn ball.
Hey, yo.
You got 3 holes to choose from.
3 holes to choose from.
Pick one, listen, man. And just one more point to the Chiefs. This is why the Chiefs, like, this is why people are talking about their offense like they don't do nothing, because they get bored, because they have an identity, but it's like they don't want to keep, they'll keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. They don't get bored with winning. So it's like, okay, if throwing the ball 20 times a game is going to get us to 10 wins, then that's what we're going to do. We're not going to get cute. We're not going to veer off and say, okay, let's throw the ball 40 times. No, throw it 20 times, because stats say that you win more when you do that. So, I'm with you on that one, bro. These offensive
that's a great point. And there are 3 people now that you brought up, the Chiefs, that I wanted to talk about that I didn't bring up in my initial point. The person that made me say this was Malik Neighbors. Did you see what he said about his?
Yeah.
So Malik Neighbors basically, he basically came out and was like, "Why am I not getting the ball until the 3rd or 4th quarter? You drafted me in the first round, a high draft pick, a top 10 pick, and you're not even throwing my way in the first half. And then you want to come in the 4th quarter and say, what do you think we should do? No, get the hell out of my face. You should have been asking me that in the 1st quarter." And we did the same thing with Terry. We get to the first half. Game. Yeah, we get to the first half, and I'm like, is Terry even in the game? Like, where's Terry? We should not be asking that. He's too dynamic. He's too damn good. Force him the ball. Like, Again, don't force it because Jaden is smart enough not to force it, but get him open, move him around, like figure out a way to get him the ball because he's that good. He's gonna outplay his defender unless it's Quinyon Mitchell. But it wasn't Quinyon Mitchell this week, and that might have been a little bit of it. Was like sometimes you start seeing ghosts because you're like, damn, last week he was playing prime time or something like that. But yeah, hopefully they get over that. But yeah, no, I liked what Malik Neighbor said. I was proud of him for standing up for himself as a rookie. Sometimes people like to say, like, shut up, rookie. I was actually proud of him for speaking up for himself. And then something you said about the Chiefs, it reminds me of the Patriots and how the Patriots used to just win. Bill Belichick did not care how the Patriots won. If they had to run the ball one week and they ran it 30, 40, 50 times, Bill Belichick would run the ball 40, 50 times. If they were going to throw to the tight ends 30 times, he was going to throw to the tight ends 30 times. And then the next week, he might not throw to the tight ends at all. He might go to the receivers. And you could say that the Patriots at one point were really boring in the way that they were winning. And that's what the Chiefs are doing right now. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs are kind of boring, but they know how to win games.
Yep.
So what the Chiefs are doing right now is they have an identity, which is we have Patrick Mahomes. All we have to do is get to the fourth quarter, and he's going to win us this game. And that's all they're doing is wasting as much clock as they can, taking as much time as they can. Let's just get to the fourth quarter because Patrick Mahomes, as long as he's in the game, he's going to win it for us. I love the Chiefs' identity. I think that was the word. That probably was the word for the last take, identity. That was great analysis, Co. And that's the last take, man.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement, man. They definitely need to get on task. But Brodies out there, let us know what you think. Like and subscribe. Hit the bottom right-hand corner on the YouTube channel. Like and share on Instagram and TikTok, y'all. Again, we are celebrating 20,000 views and counting the goals to get to 50,000 before the end of the year. And that is it for today's show. We want to thank everybody again for their support. Go ahead and follow us on all the platforms. But until then, it's the Lord here, Cold World, signing off. My main man, Wiggs, over here. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, man. Peace out, Brodie.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, man.